A-League this season, Macarthur FC, against the defending champions, who will be hoping that the new year brings them a little bit of consistency as well. So far this weekend, 3 of the top 4 have dropped points. So who will be distributing the festive cheer? A place in the top 6 beckons for the winner, if there is to be one. Macarthur versus the Central Coast Mariners. You can see there in the tunnel camp, the Isuzu UTE tunnel camp, our two sides making their way back out onto the field of play. Well, they may have blown hot and cold so far this season, but the Mariners have an excellent record here in Campbelltown. They have won on each of their 4 visits here in the A-League, and you can add to that an extra time, 120th minute thriller, 3-2 win in the AFC Cup zonal playoff last season as well. For that to continue, they'll be looking to find the back of the net, something they have struggled to do so far this season against a Macarthur side who are one of the best in the league in the attacking stats. Now, before we get underway today, we're just going to have a moment's silence for the passing of Giovanni Marra, the father of Macarthur chairman Gino Marra.
We'd like to ask for a moment's silence to remember Giovanni Marra, who is no longer here with us. Even though he's not physically present, Giovanni was and always will remain a key part of the foundation that makes Macarthur FC the club it is today. We cherish our memories of Giovanni, who will live on in our hearts. Thank you.
Well, the thoughts and wishes of Paramount Plus and Network 10 with the Marra family during this difficult time. Let's have a look at the side that will wear the Macarthur colours this afternoon. Mile Stojovski going with the same starting 11 from last weekend, and that 2-1 win away to Wellington. Belgian defender Dino Aslanovic is still missing with a back complaint. That means Oliver Jones makes his 3rd consecutive start alongside Tommy Uskok in defence. There's back-to-back starts for a fit again Danny De Silva in the middle of the park. And the front 3 is Jed Drew and Marin Yakalish either side of the Frenchman Valère Germain, who's looking to add to his 24 goals in black and white since arriving in Australia at the start of last season. Big afternoon as well for Filip Kurto. The 32-year-old Polish goalkeeper becomes the first ever Macarthur player to bring up a century of appearances in all competitions. What better way to celebrate a match on Christmas Eve than with a second clean sheet of the season for him. Well, for the Mariners, they are still searching for the key to unlocking their goal-scoring potential. Just 5 goals so far. It looks like coach Mark Jackson has reverted, not for the first time this season, to a back 3 as Noah Smith makes his first start of the season. Hayne Eames becomes the Mariners' youngest ever starting player at just 16 years of age in the middle of the park. And with Ryan Edmondson missing with that fractured eye socket, it means Alu Kuol continues to be the focus in attack. One of the players with a goal to his name this season is the 32-year-old captain of this Mariners side, Brian Kaltak, his 82nd appearance in all competitions for the Mariners, a 63rd in the A-League. Of those 3 goals, the first came against Macarthur 2 seasons ago, as did his first ever red card. Mile Stojovski was an A-League champion with the Central Coast Mariners back in 2013. Today, he coaches his 50th match in charge of Macarthur, up against Mark Jackson, who said he was very disappointed with his side's performance last time out, that 4-0 defeat to Adelaide. Adam Kersey takes charge of this one. It's his second time in charge of this fixture. The first ended in a 2-1 win for Macarthur in Gosford 2 seasons ago. And it is the Mariners looking to preserve that 100% record here in Campbelltown. And perhaps more importantly than that, get a much-needed victory that would see the defending champions climb into the 6 for the first time this season. But Macarthur have found a little defensive solidity in the last couple of weeks themselves and are coming off an excellent win away to Wellington 2-1. I'm pleased to say I'm joined for the first time on Paramount Plus and Channel 10 for an A-League match. Eric Partaloo in the hot seat. Eric, what are we expecting from today's game?
Thanks, Robbie. Well, just from watching that first challenge, I think we're in for an absolute physical contest. Two teams that really need the points tonight, and we know the Mariners' struggles in front of goal. Well, Macarthur have had a really good run of form, getting that away win in Wellington last week, so they're full of confidence. But it's been a great week of A-League action so far, and it's going to finish off nicely just here.
Already 18 goals in the 5 matches so far. That's nearly 4 a game. We've become accustomed to the chaos of the A-League. And of course, the last time Macarthur were here, they played out a 4-4 against Brisbane as well. Those sorts of goal-scoring feats are only a dream at the moment for the Mariners, who have switched things up. We were wondering, Eric, how they were going to line up. It does look as though Mikael Docker is playing perhaps as a second striker, almost alongside Alu Kuol, with Krzyzewski in the right wing-back position, but certainly looks like a 3-5-2 formation at the moment.
Yeah, Mikael Docker's played almost everywhere this season for the Mariners. Last season, if you remember, played mostly as a right back, but you know, Mark Jackson has to try and change something. They need to find players further forward and just getting that numerical advantage in the final third.
Alu Kuol leading the line for the Mariners. He does have 2 goals so far this season. They came in that 2-1 win over Sydney. It looked then as though the Mariners may have turned the corner after that slow start to the campaign, but they certainly came undone against Adelaide. Now, Giovanni gets it wide, forces Jakalic very wide. He manages to keep it in. The challenge by Storm Rue, and it will be an attacking throw for Ivan Vujica.
Hasn't he been good this season? Marin Jakalic coming across, really found his feet here at Macarthur, one of their standout players. Here he is on the ball again, just trying to get things started in that final third.
He has found a goal-scoring touch as well. 4 goals in the first 4 games for Macarthur. He has been without one. Oh, look, as Kuol charges past Uzkok. Alu Kuol with the first chance of the match invites Uzkok back again. And there you see possibly a lack of confidence going forward in this Mariners side, because Alu Kuol had Tommy Uzkok on ice for pace.
Just a mistake there from Adamson, and not on the same wavelength with Uzkok, and Kuol got himself forward and just didn't have that belief to keep going and try to get something on target. He had no options inside for himself to try and cut one back, but they need to take control of those situations and get goals early in games.
The Mariners are the only side in the A-League this season yet to score in the first half of a match, and there we see one of the symptoms of why Alu Kuol, who is such a wholehearted player, always full of running, but you need that confidence when you're in front of goal is lacking. Here's Jones stepping in for the Belgian Arslanagic. Matt Yerman on the bench as well. Keely Adamson over the top. It's a well-weighted pass for Jet Drew, forcing Noah Smith onto the back foot. Drew coming inside, just overhitting it, helped out by the 16-year-old Hayne Eames. They have big raps on Eames on the Central Coast, the boy from Port Macquarie, who Here he is again, the number 36. Not afraid to come in and get on the ball, and we're going to have a good look at him this afternoon because this is his first start. Gemma with the big switch. Jakalic just a little bit overhit, couldn't keep it in.
It's really interesting watching the Mariners playing out there under pressure, and for a team that's struggling maybe to find goals, they certainly still have that pattern of play, getting yellow shirts around and happy to play through traffic and get themselves out of pressure, as they have done just here again.
Alfie McCalmont just hesitated. He did have options. Bratton settles things down. Well, they have had their fair share of injury problems as well. Docker is still there. Qual was there last year, instrumental in that AFC Cup victory, but Kuszewski missed last season with a knee injury. There's no Brad Tapp. He's out for the rest of the season with his ACL. Good news on the bench this afternoon. Trent Sainsbury returning to the club after a decade abroad, and tore a pec muscle just before the start of the season, but he is on the bench for the first time this season.
Yeah, that's great news for Mariners. I think everyone expected him to play from the start, and quite an unusual injury for Trent, but you know what sort of leadership qualities he brings off the field as well, so he can't wait to get on the pitch and start playing.
Great quick feet from Mikael Docker, the Brazilian number 10. Through the legs of Luke Bratton. Here's Brian Kaltak. We know that Macarthur are very much a transition side. They love to hit on the counter-attack. Happy to sit off at the moment and allow the Mariners the ball in their own half of the field. Silva putting the pressure on. Nathan Paul. Back with Kaltak. Here's McCalmont. Then through the ranks at Leeds United under Mark Jackson. Stormroo rolls it out to Kuszewski. Started on the bench the two most recent Asian Champions League matches, Kuszewski, but has been an ever-present in the A-League this season. That's well played from Eames, charging through, getting a bit of a lucky ricochet perhaps. Now McCalmont for Kuszewski, first time ball across the face. Eames is there again, he hooks it back towards Qual. Curto flapping at it, it's still alive for the Mariners. Docker back out with Stormroo, he looks up and crosses it back in. And it was Noah Smith who had the opportunity, I think, getting numbers into the box.
Well, it's the first glimpse of Eames we've seen tonight, just getting into those forward positions, and the Mariners just getting numbers into the box. Stormroo just lifts that one over there. There's an opportunity to try and get a header on target. They don't get anything from that situation. Yet again, the Mariners, another good chance.
It has been a bright start from the Central Coast Mariners so far. Back-to-back defending A-League champions. There was a coachload of fans that have made the trip to Sydney Southwest as well for this match, just 48 hours before Christmas. Take Holman. Collected by Alu Qual. A free kick to perhaps relieve a little bit of the pressure. See if Macarthur can't put their foot on the ball.
If they can get this balance right, Macarthur, in the midfield three, they could have a really, really successful season. Holman, Bratton to Silva. Such balance in there. And we're going to see Luke Bratton on the ball yet again, try and muster something from the set piece.
Plays it square with Vujica. This is the training ground routine, but they can't find Keely Adamson at the back post.
Good effort. Vujica trying to find that angle. Just needed to maybe angle his run a little bit longer. And we're going to see the Central Coast Mariners do a lot of this tonight, try and keep possession. I think when you're maybe struggling in front of goal, you want to try and maintain control over the game, particularly away from home. If you can do that and quieten the home crowd down a little bit, it'll just give them that confidence to go further forward.
They're also looking to avoid back-to-back defeats for the first time this season, for the first time since those first 4 games in the A-League, at least, of last season. They have found the going tough in the Asian Champions League as well this season. Just the 1 point already eliminated. That's a good square ball. Was looking for Eames, but it's Jake Holman who runs the ball away. Adamson inside with Bratton. Good high pressure coming from the Mariners as well. Unfortunately, they've just let Adamson out. Oh, a heavy touch from Germain, who gets it back, perhaps rather fortunately. Now Vujica. Jakulic. Germain again. This is good football from the Bulls, releasing Jakulic down the left. 2 to aim for in the middle. Vujica arriving as well. Jakulic turns round 1, then 2, and it's in from Jet Drew. His first ever A-League goal was a last-minute winner in Gosford against the Mariners. And he's opened the scoring here. It's another early goal for the home side, Macarthur FC. They lead the Mariners in the 11th minute by 1-0.
Well, how quick was that movement from Germain and the Harvey Mormon replay? That ball forward and a great run forward from Jakulic, who does so well to stand up a couple of Central Coast Mariners defenders. Great footwork and a great arrival from Jed Drew, who just had to wait for this playmaker, this creator that they found this season. Marin Jakulic does so well. 1 person, 2 players, bang, it's in the back of the net. Macarthur, they've got the lead here at home.
That might go down as a goal for Danny De Silva. Have a look at this. That's hit him about a foot off the goal line, I reckon.
Surely not.
Well, in the spirit of Christmas, we're giving it to Jed Drew so far. That will, of course, also affect the potential assist, because it will become an assist for Drew and not for Jakulic.
Are they having a check here? Or
well, they're just checking if he was offside, I think. Let's have a look. There's no obstruction there. But are there 2 players behind him?
He was in line and Caltech came off the field of play and came back onto an onside position. So it's a difficult one for the officials. That's why it's taking a little bit of time.
Well, we often think that if it's a goalkeeper and a defender, it's just 2 opposition players that have to be in between the last player and the goal line. And it looked very, very close there for Danny De Silva. It would be unfortunate because it looked a painted on goal for Macarthur. Let's have another look here. Look at the number 7 in the middle for Macarthur.
As the ball's touched there.
So it's got to be onside.
He looks like he's onside. 2 players in front of him. Caltech is there as well. And I think you're right though, Robbie. It could go down as a De Silva goal. It should go down as a De Silva goal.
Well, that is their 4th goal inside the opening 15 minutes of matches. It does count, and they do lead. We're in the 14th minute now. It came in the 11th though. You wouldn't say necessarily against the run of play. It's been more or less even, but probably the Mariners have had the better of it.
But I'm sure the Mariners would have done their homework watching the game in Wellington and watching the likes of Jakulic get himself forward in those positions. You've got to watch his movement. He's been so key to Macarthur's success this season.
And we have just heard from the referees that it is Danny De Silva's goal. So Merry Christmas, Danny De Silva.
And Jed Drew continues to wait.
He does get the assist to put in his sock. I'm sure they won't mind. The 3 points, obviously the most important thing. I suspect they'll be training on Christmas Day as well, because they have to be in Perth on Friday. They've got a busy schedule.
Such a busy schedule. And that's why it's so important that the time off that you do get, you come away with a good result before Christmas. You don't want to be sitting there on Christmas Day, the time that you do have with family, with salt still in your wounds from a loss. So these games are so important.
Games are coming thick and fast. Perth on Friday, then Western Sydney Wanderers on Wednesday after that. There's no rest for the wicked. And then it's off to Adelaide on the Monday. So playing every 3 or 4 days over the Christmas period for Macarthur. I heard Aurelio Vidmar saying that the Melbourne City players have 3 days off. Their next game's not until New Year's Eve.
Sometimes the strategy works, sometimes it doesn't. And depends on how you're going in the season, of course, and whether or not you're happy with the way the squad's looking.
Now down the left. Oh, that's a good ball towards Quoll. Noah Smith driving the ball across the face of goal, and Quoll was lunging for it, just a couple of centimetres short. Now Kuzewski, as the Mariners look for a way back into the game. Storm Roux with McCalmont. It's a good run from the young Englishman, and he's won a corner.
You've got to say, the Central Coast Mariners have created the better chances. It's a beautiful defence-splitting pass, and it's even better delivery into that 6-yard box, exactly where you expect Quoll to be right on the end of it, but they're just inches away from getting that equaliser.
Mikael Docker takes it short with McCalmont. Here's Eames. Plays his cross to the back post where Kaltak was lurking. It's come off a Macarthur head, so we'll stay with the action. It'll be an attacking throw for the Central Coast Mariners, who for all their dominance and near misses are yet to muster a shot at goal in the match so far. The Mariners had a couple of near misses. Here's Kaltak. There you can see the schedule coming up for the Central Coast Mariners. Saturday, Auckland at home, and then Tuesday the 31st against Melbourne City, the New Year's Eve match, as Docker is able to turn. He got the right side of Bratton. Space on the right-hand side for Kuzewski. And his cross, I thought for a moment, might be about to catch out Philip Curto.
That was a really nice move there from the Central Coast Mariners. It all started with Paige Cullen playing that ball straight forward to Docker, who they need to get more involved, I think, the Mariners, if they want to try and enter that final third. He's all over the place at the moment, in between lines.
Here he is again, letting fly as well. Turned behind by Philip Curto. So there's the first shot from the yellow and blue. Mikael Docker, the author.
Well, that's much better. And that's where you want to see a player of his quality receive the ball in between lines and taking a quick shot.
And again, it's taken short. Docker down to the byline, into the area against De Silva. It's going to be another corner. Good spell of pressure, this.
And this is where they have to make it count now. The Mariners have been up here 3 or 4 times in the final third, and it's all down to that movement. 3 corners already for the Mariners.
And the third in a row that's taken short with McCalmont. Again, Eames is there. This is almost a shooting opportunity for Hayne Eames. It's blocked by Germain. De Silva turns it back over again. Docker. No way past Vujica this time. It was a complicated idea with the run from deep from Harrison Steele, and now Macarthur playing the ball out, but not with any real pace. Not looking to try and catch out the Mariners, who Alu Quoll just filling in at left midfield. Has there been a little tactical switch there? Looks like a flat back 4 at the moment. We'll see how long that lasts, because they've got Hayne Eames playing at left midfield at the moment.
Well, you can just see Jake Holman stepping on the ball there, unsure which way to turn and play. And perhaps a flexible formation tonight. Paige Cullen cleaning that one up, but I think Mark Jackson's got to try absolutely everything tonight, and particularly being a goal down yet again. The response that they wanted hasn't come, but they need to respond before half-time, and they cannot allow this game to get away from them.
A little bit of push and shove on the far side of the field, and a couple of words between Drew and Smith. Mariners opened the scoring just once this season, and they have conceded that opening goal for a 5th time now. That just illustrates those slow starts. And perhaps over the last couple of years we've grown accustomed to a Mariners side that can overturn any given situation. It hasn't been the case so far this season. And that's why they find themselves in the problems they're in. Ball in. The header away by Jones. Just saw there Noah Smith down the left-hand side. I didn't mention that I spoke to Lucas Moragas briefly before kickoff, who is here. He has travelled. He said it's just a knock, nothing serious, but just preventing him from playing today.
And that's where you've got to look at maybe the AFC Cup this season, or AFC Champions League elite, maybe just causing a little bit of fatigue. And if you go back to last season, between match day 1 and 6, when they returned to the A-League, they never won a game. And it's very, very similar reading for the Mariners this season, but perhaps with less of a squad to work with. And I think that'll please Mark Jackson now they've got until, I think, the 11th of February just to concentrate on the A-League, and they need to put a run of games together before that date.
And they have no chance of going through to the next round either. They're already eliminated, even though they have 2 games remaining against Johor on the 11th of February and then Kawasaki at home a week later. Johor, the Malaysian side. So perhaps there will be some travel, but might as well send the kids.
Yeah, and the difficult thing is, you know, playing last season against Bali United, no disrespect, it's very different to playing against Yokohama Marinos. And you can tell by the lessons that they've learned as well. And the psychological effect possibly that it takes its toll when you're coming back from travelling and losing games. You're learning that lesson, but you can't allow it to come into your A-League form. And I think that's where they've got that wrong this season, the Mariners. They haven't been able to wipe it away and continue on with the A-League as a different, separate competition.
Speaking of Yokohama F. Marinos, the worst kept secret in Australian football was just confirmed a few moments ago. Patrick Kisnorbo will officially be the assistant coach to Yokohama F. Marinos, so continuing an Australian coaching tradition there. As here come Macarthur, Adamson, Nathan Paul with the sliding challenge.
Nathan Paul did extremely well there to get himself out there, the big frame, getting the long legs there, making sure that Adamson not allowed to go down the line. And this is the time for Macarthur now to put their foot in the ball and control this game a little bit more.
There's a great ball in behind from Holman for Drew. German's in the middle, drives it across. Oh, and it was spilt momentarily by Parage Cullen. You've got to be careful not to do that with Valère Germain lurking.
Certainly can't. It's a beautiful ball and a great curved run over the top of that high line for the Mariners, clearly onside, and he had to try and whip that the first time it was going out. Germain sneaking in there in front of the goalkeeper.
Have to be careful of those little niggly touches as well. These two sides do have a little bit of history. The AFC Cup match ended basically in an all-in brawl between these two sides. The zonal playoff, Ronald Barcelus got the winner in the 120th minute. The 5th straight win for the Mariners here at Campbelltown. Macarthur do have one home win over the Mariners in their history. This is the 13th meeting, but it came at Penrith. That ball in, it's too high for Quoll from Noah Smith. Eames back with Steele. Nathan Paul. Eames able to turn. Faces forward. Just 16 years of age. Gets it back from Docker. McCalmont. See, that area of the pitch does not look the most assured underfoot. Good little touch to Silva. Holman for Yarkulish. He's in behind them here. Yarkulish. One-on-one. Is he going to take on Nathan Paul? Oh, he's done so with a clever little touch, but it was just overhit. Oh, and he's left a foot in there. Parage Cullen, you have to be careful.
Yet again, the speedster, Yarkulish, getting forward, and just this little touch here in front was a little bit heavy, and he couldn't get himself around Paul and got too close to the goalkeeper. And it's a good claim from Parage Cullen. But another great move on that left-hand side from Macarthur. The Mariners have got to get to grips with that.
one thing knowing what the threat is of Macarthur. It's generally Jed Drew and Marin Yarkalish down the flanks with the clever touches of a De Silva and a Germain in the middle, but it's an entirely other thing trying to stop it. Here's McCalmont. Eames and Smith all making that run forward. Here's Germain again. We just went without it. Kozewski all the way back to Parage Cullen.
Mariners going back to that back three as well, and looks as though they're trying to maybe be flexible, bringing in the left back and right back at times, but in possession they want to get players further forward, and you can understand the need for that now being 1-0 down. But it's when they lose possession they're finding a big problem, and Caltech got dragged out for that last Yarkalish opportunity. So the Bulls, or Macarthur, they have to be careful they don't get stung with possession, but on that quick counter-attack, they've got their number.
McCalmont back to Kozewski. He's got Docker outside him. He's done well, Sasha Kozewski. The square ball, it was just taken away from Hayne Eames. Quoll keeps it alive with Nathan Paul, back post. Kozewski's header. Cleared by Oliver Jones. Docker again. Well, they have created the most danger when Mikhail Docker's got on the ball. He's pushed over a little too easily there by Luke Bratton. No way through that time, and the break could be on here. Giovanni had a little look up. Here comes Jed Drew. Danger on the charge. Oh, and that's a uncharacteristically poor pass from Valère Germain.
Unusual, absolutely. They were away there for all money, but there's that possession stat. You can see clearly the Mariners controlling the football at the moment, but Luke Bratton, how well did he do there to win that ball back? And you can see straight away, bang, they're trying to play that first pass forward.
Jones with Vujica, Yarkalish being tracked. De Silva, great technique, good use of the body as well. Dragged to the ground by Nathan Paul.
No, I thought that pass from Yarkalish was asking a lot of Danny De Silva, but then you forget about how good technically this kid is to hold off a bigger opponent, to roll him and use his body to earn the foul. It's brilliant work from De Silva.
Debuted for Perth Glory as a 15-year-old, headed to AS Roma, then played in the Netherlands, Roda JC, back to the Mariners where he played 63 times for 8 goals over 2 spells, and now at Macarthur. Bratton. Yarkalish again drawing out Storm Roux. Support coming in the end from Kozewski. McCalmont read the situation well. So did Bratton and Holman between them.
Talk me through how that's meant to be better than playing it into the box from a free kick. That's a wasted opportunity there from Macarthur, and they almost got themselves stuck on a counter-attack. It was a little bit silly.
Spoken as the big player that normally got on the end of those early balls into the box.
That's why I said it.
Here's Adamson. Forced out. Back with Uscock. Oliver Jones with Vujica. Closed down quickly by Kozewski. A little bit fortunate, but good press again coming from the Mariners, who are trying to take the game to Macarthur.
Yeah, Vujica there just didn't make himself big enough and touch the sideline and just give him that extra yard to open up. But good pressure from the Mariners. They need to step forward a little bit quicker as a unit. There's Caltech coming all the way across yet again in that back three.
Germain does brilliantly. The quality of the French veteran, bringing that ball down. And then the switch of play for Adamson, and Macarthur are on the front foot. Drew comes inside, turns it all the way back. Storm Roux, Holman, oh, he didn't quite back himself. It's out for the goal kick, and that's an opportunity to head down to Neve Owens on the sideline. Nevo, we didn't hear the cowbells as much as I might have thought after that opening goal.
No, but we've heard plenty of Christmas carols so far, Robbie. Plenty of holiday spirit here at Campbelltown Stadium this afternoon. Mariners working hard. They're running into a pretty gustily southwesterly in the first half. But Macarthur, the home side, on the other hand, have it at their back. They overcooked a couple of balls out over this western touchline early on, but settling into it nicely now and really looking to take advantage of it as we see the elf on the shelf pop up right there in the home side's dugout. Up to a bit of mischief, Robbie.
Well, it's working so far, whatever it is. They've got the Grinch in the active support end as well on the drums. Here's Eames, the youngster with his first ever start. He's seen a fair bit of the football as well. It's a long process. You don't expect a 16-year-old in his first start to be the finished product, far from it, but he'll be better for this as Noah Smith putting the pressure on, and he's won a corner.
Almost did well there, Adamson, using his body to try and shield the Mariners from getting inside the box. But you're right, it's great to see Hayne Eames getting on the ball so regularly. And the first port of call was his manager saying, I need your help in a moment of toughness. And that's how much they rely on him or think of him, which is great news.
Docker, near post. Comfortable header away by De Silva. We're into the last 15 minutes of the first half. The Mariners still looking for that first half goal of the season. Incredible to think. Last season they finished with 49 goals. It was the fourth best in the regular season, but only 3 behind the likes of Adelaide, who were the top scorers last year. So they were there or thereabouts in an attacking sense. 5 goals so far this season. It is a frightening turnaround.
It really is, but you have to say on the balance of play they've created the best chances. And what do you put it down to from the ball not going in the back of the net? Is it connection with their number 9? Is it the creative link? Possibly not, replacing players like Josh Nisbet. That's why we're seeing the likes of Hayne Eames getting an opportunity. I think there's a few problems there to sort out, but the Mariners are going to create chances. But how long do they wait before they can get a goal scorer? I mean, January cannot come quick enough.
Then it's a question of do they have the means to bring in another goal scorer. Docker, who has been on the score sheet in continental football again, is there up against Holman. Ivan Vujica with the big clearance. Nathan Paul lets it run cleverly for Eames against Uzkop. And Bratton. Not trying to do too much. Hayne Eames, as Noah Smith goes to ground, but far too easily for the referee's liking. And then Germain gives it away. The little back heel was well read by the Mariners midfield. Docker with Qual. McCalmont. Kozewski wide on the right. Overlapping run from Storm Roux, and that's poor, and so is Vujica's clearance, but he just gives it straight back again to absorb more pressure here. Oh, as it broke in the end to Sasha Kozewski. Heavy touch from Jarkalic and almost paid the penalty.
Well, we saw him hit one decent strike last week in the game, and it was again trying to get something on target. Curto, they're the ones that can catch you unawares as a goalkeeper, more than a snapshot, but that's at least 4 or 5 opportunities for the Mariners inside the box.
And there we just saw Ryan Edmondson, who had surgery a couple of weeks ago on that fractured eye socket. Vitor Feijão, who didn't make the squad either, and Lucas Moragas, who also has an eye for goal, even if he hasn't scored so far this A-League season. Now Drew, as Macarthur look to get forward again. Well, the ball didn't quite read the intentions of Germain, but Bratton diving in. If they turned it over there, the Mariners, they could have been trouble. They've survived. The sun is becoming quite problematic for the players down when they run into it as well. I could see the Macarthur players when they were coming to receive the throw-in, all shielding their eyes from the sun. Those shadows getting very long.
Yeah, it's a bit breezy today as well in Sydney, has to be said, but hasn't really affected the play too much tonight. But I think for the Mariners, they've got all of 10 minutes to try and muster something, get something to take into that half-time talk for Mark Jackson.
Kozewski. He's a real terrier. Ivan Vujica doesn't give anything away. Has no fear. Like a little dog with a bone when he sees the ball. Through from McCalmont. Now, that's the referee's assistant going to decide there. Jake Holman and Marin Jarkulic claiming that should have been a goal kick.
Well, as much as the Mariners have probed and tried everything they possibly can, they've defended really well, Macarthur. They've gone short again, the Mariners.
Well, they still haven't got that sorted out. Every time it's gone short. Now ball to the back post where Kaltak was lurking. He is a fantastic goal scorer from those set pieces, Kaltak. As Bratton, a little bit lucky to get away from Harrison Steele, but look out over the top for Jed Drew. Jarkulic in the middle, Drew comes inside, Jed Drew still blocked by McCalmont somehow. Now Germain, the Frenchman, with De Silva. Mariners have numbers back. They scrambled well because they looked in all sorts of trouble for a moment there. Now De Silva still. Does Macarthur just take their foot off the throat for a moment? Adamson. Bratton again. Managed to get that move going, but that was rather fortunate.
Well, last night we saw the Western Sydney Wanderers front three really play narrow and play well together and combine and have that connection. Tonight we're seeing the front three from Macarthur really have a different sort of connection, and they're going in quickly through Jed Drew, Jarkulic, and Germain's trying to sprint through the middle to get that pass. It was on at one point for Jed Drew to possibly just gamble that ball.
As Holman gets it back, and again, look at the space for Germain through the middle. Jarkulic came inside, then back out. The cross back post.
That's great defending from Smith there. That was a fantastic move yet again. So much space in the middle of the park. The Mariners don't come to grips with the movement of Germain. And then talk about delivery. Jarkulic, outstanding. But Smith up to the task. There was 4 players for Macarthur inside the 6-yard box waiting for something there.
De Silva takes it short with Jarkulic. Oh, that's well played. Well, the flag has gone up for offside. I think I might see that one again. That's a little bit curious.
I'm sure he's in a better position than us, but it must have been a great movement forward from the Central Coast Mariners defenders. But you've seen that one work on the training ground. You see, yeah, he's offside. Keely Adamson's offside, but not affecting the play. It's an interesting one, isn't
Very
it?
close. Well, here come the Mariners with Docker. Qual ahead of him. Kozewski's to the right. Docker. He's trying to take matters into his own hands at the moment. But it's not coming off for the Brazilian, not yet anyway. There's a scramble for hopefully a Christmas souvenir.
Well, Mikkel Docker, he leads the Central Coast Mariners with the most shots on target, the most passes in the opponent's half, the most crosses and dribbles attempted, the most fouls won. He is Mr. Mariners at the moment, and he can't do it all alone. And it looks as though he is at times just going forward and having shots on target because the movement in front of him is non-existent.
That has been part of the problem, is that he was one of a number of important players last season. Does have goals in the Asian Champions League Elite this year against Shanghai Port and also Shandong. There's Kozewski has stayed down. Valère Germain's asking. What's he asking about? The offside again?
Well, there's good contact there, but maybe not enough to go down from Kuszewski. He bought that foul really well. And this is a chance for the Mariners. They've got 3 over the ball at the moment, trying to decide what to do. And you've got to get more numbers in the box. There's nobody up for Macarthur.
Smith steps over. Docker delivers. Good ball back post towards Kaltak again. Here's Quoll. Header away by Germain. Eames back with Stormrue. Noah Smith with Hayne Eames. They've still got 5 forward, including Nathan Paul and Kaltak, along with Alu Quoll. That's a lot of aerial threat. 3 of their 5 goals have come from headers as well. 2 Alu Quoll headers and a Kaltak header. There was an own goal from Shushnyar and Sabit Nyor's tap-in finish, I guess you'd say, against Adelaide. It's a bit worrying when you can rattle off the exact way in which they've scored all their goals this season so far for the champions.
And this is a test that I think Mark Jackson was going to face at some point, whether it was this season or next season. And you know, you find out what a team is really made of, and you can't always be at the top in the A-League, that's for sure. You've always got the big target on your back, playing against the champions, and right now they're in the middle of that, trying to find a way through, trying to find a formula that works. But the movement for me in the final third is just a little bit disjointed, and Macarthur are doing a great job at sitting back in and really frustrating that middle part.
Well, the key for Macarthur is the fact that they have that early goal as well. They have something to defend, and you can add to that the fact that they clearly want to keep a clean sheet. That would have been one of their priorities today, having only kept 1 so far this season, having conceded goals in all that run, the 2 against Melbourne victory, 2 against Newcastle, in games where they would feel they were leading, they were in front, they could have perhaps held on better. It's something that Mile Sturjovski highlighted in the team, so they are more defence-minded these days as well. Here's Smith with Eames. It was Harrison Steele who gets it back to Smith, now into the area. McCalmont twisting and turning away. That's going to be a Macarthur throw.
That was super defending there from Luke Bratton, just going in not once but twice to try and stop that attack. And once somebody enters the box, it's very easy to stick a leg out and try and bring somebody down or make contact, but he almost waited for the Mariners players to make a mistake. So a lot of experience in Luke Bratton, and he's been a great signing for them.
He's already spoken about his disappointment at not being offered initially that new contract at Sydney, or perhaps a better way of putting it is not happy with the way it ended at Sydney FC for Luke Bratton, but very happy to have this opportunity. It's perhaps no surprise that he is one of the first names onto the team sheet as well. He even got a call up to the Socceroos.
Yeah, he's played the most minutes alongside Curto, and it's what he brings in the dressing room. You know, some of the players that maybe haven't won something in the competition, and in those moments of doubt or struggle, which you always do find in a season, someone like Abrazzi steps in and knows what to do.
The ball for Quoll. That's a good grab from Philip Curto. Well, you know that Alu Quoll is going to go for it. That's one thing you can be sure of, and Curto knew what was coming and he responded well.
You love to see it. You love to see the challenge, and he's got every right to go for it. But how good's Philip Curto? And not just in this game, he hasn't had a lot to do so far, but he had to come out there, and it's a different side of the goalkeeping technique. You've got to come out knowing that you're going to make contact and you're going to get hurt and you're going to have to take one for the team. It's great goalkeeping.
attack. A little bit casual, just gives it straight to Germain, 30 metres out from goal. Now Jakalic, lovely ball in. Oh, De Silva was hit, it was a little bit clumsy. Mariners get it clear, and that was just casual. The whole passage of play from the Mariners as Ollie Jones belts it out of play up the other end.
Again, the architect, Jakalic playing it forward. There's definite contact there from Paul on De Silva, who tried to keep going with the football, and it seems as though the VAR check's already been completed.
Sturjovski is asking if that's the case. Referee Adam Kersey as well, just getting a word from Luke Bratton in the ear. Again, it's those moments that can prove so costly. And again, uncharacteristic, a clearance like that from Kaltak that just gave the ball straight over. Nice, Kuszewski for McCalmont. The two number 8s against Holman. Got to be careful. Take Holman has played it out. It's a throw for the Mariners. The first minute of 2 stoppage time minutes has expired. Kuszewski. They'll have a corner now, the Mariners, with which to try and finish on level terms.
The Central Coast Mariners are playing an absolute maximum there, and the Macarthur FC still had an answer to absolutely everything.
Again, it's taken short. Again, they find McCalmont. Now Docker again. Square ball, the shot from Hayne Eames. A second effort on target in this match from the Central Coast Mariners. And that is something Macarthur coaching staff will not be happy with. Every single corner has got into a very good crossing or shooting opportunity.
You've got to get 2 out there. It's as simple as that. You can't allow players like Mikel Docker to get on the ball and whip things into the box. It's a numbers game, but perhaps they're not worried about that threat out there. More worried about what's inside the box, but it is unusual.
Half-time in Campbelltown. Macarthur leading courtesy of an assist from that man Jed Drew, who thought he'd scored the Christmas goal, but it has been awarded to Danny De Silva, his first. It came in the 11th minute on a classic Macarthur FC counter-attack. Christmas Eve here in Campbelltown sees the Bulls leading the Mariners by 1-0. And we will be back with all the halftime show after the break. Don't go away.
We are committed to providing a safe and enjoyable environment for all fans and ask you to respect our fellow spectators by refraining from illegal and dangerous activities. It is an offence for any spectator to enter the field of play without authorization. Any spectator that enters the field of play without authorization will be evicted from the stadium, potentially banned from attending future matches, and further questioning. A financial fine may also be issued. APL is committed to providing a safe and enjoyable environment for everyone, and we ask you to respect the players and match officials by remaining within the season law. Alright people, let's welcome our halftime mini Bulls. Today we've got players from Eskell Park Football Club. Let's make them feel welcome.
Reimagine outdoor cooking with the Ninja Wood Fire Outdoor Oven. Unlock high-heat wood fire flavour you can see and taste. Smoke,
assist, so pursue your financial goals on eToro with the assistance of 35 million users. Ask questions, explore other investor strategies, performance and investments, get insights and ideas to build your ultimate portfolio from a wide variety of assets like global and local shares, crypto, ETFs and more. Join eToro, the proud sponsor of the A-Leagues.
Oh, that's a beauty. What a stunning goal that is from Craig Noon. My goodness, that is a beauty.
Welcome back to Campbelltown Stadium, where we saw that fantastic goal from Craig Noon a couple of seasons ago, and we almost had another great goal for Mikael Docker here in this one. Eric Partaloo, what did you make of a pretty entertaining first half, settled in the first 45 minutes by that opening goal?
I think it was really well managed from Macarthur. I think that they got that goal early on and just did enough to get themselves across the line. The Mariners had some good chances, but again highlighting the fact that maybe they need a goal scorer in their team, and they haven't got one at the moment. But it's been a good quality game, one you expect.
Maybe they need a big bad wolf in front of goal, or some other form of Christmas sprite down there on the sideline. Let's have a look at the Harvey Norman highlights from that first period. And it all started, Eric, in the 11th minute. Good play from Giovanni, who was involved a couple of times.
It's all about that movement, that little triangle movement, the run over the top, and just trying to dismantle that Mariners backline. Caltech caught out of position. They're not sure if you're in that 3 or in that 4, but how is the footwork from Marin Jakalic? I mean, it's outstanding, it's world class, it's what you pay your money for. And he's probably been the best player this season alongside Giovanni, and they were both involved in this one. Jed Drew thought he had his first goal, and there was a hint of offside. Danny De Silva got himself on the score sheet.
Well, let's have a look at the stats then of that first half. Macarthur leading, but it's been the Mariners that have had most of the ball, most of the shots, but the clearer chances have been Macarthur's.
Really surprising that, just the one shot on target, and it's been mostly from midfield. Haven't really seen a lot of qual in that final third, getting the ball and facing forward. A lot of this sort of action going across, and Macarthur just doing enough defensively to get it done. I don't think they've been unstuck or undone. Mikael Docker, here he is turning and getting room to shoot. That was probably the only shot on target that they had, and they'll need more of that. But I think if you're Macarthur, you're really comfortable in these sorts of positions. 2 banks of 4, possibly a 5, and if they don't clear their lines, that's where they only have a little bit of a problem. But the Mariners, they need to thread the needle a little bit more. This guy, Mikael Docker, influential on the right-hand side. Again, look at the movement in front of him. What did he have? There was nothing there for him.
Well, the Mariners do need to improve in the second half. Before then, though, perhaps one man that's missing still for Macarthur is Chris Economides. He is with Neve Owens.
Thanks, Robbie, and he cannot wait to get back out there, let me tell you. Chris, tell us a little bit about that knee injury and how are you tracking?
Yeah, I'm tracking really well. Been training hard to get back to the same fitness level as a playing group, and any day now I'm going to be in the mix. I've been training with the team for a week or 2 now, and yeah, any minute I'll be back on the pitch, so very excited.
How much does that mean after a tough transition into Bulls life to actually be back there training with the boys and have that first start so close?
Yeah, it was obviously frustrating not being able to play the first few games with the boys and in front of our supporters and my new club, so it's extra sweet now that I'm close, and I'm super excited to start with the boys.
I reckon you're liking what you're seeing tonight, looking very good on the counter. What do you reckon Mile's message will be at the break?
Yeah, as you said, we look really dangerous going forward, and it's been a theme all season. So I think to look solid at the back still. We got to tighten things up and continue attacking. And I think we're looking good for today.
How big a focus has that been for the team? Just the one season, playing really good football going forward, but looking, I guess, to really toughen up defensively.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a point we've been working on as a team, and that's all 11 players on the pitch. I mean, the biggest problem in football is scoring goals, so we're lucky to find it easy at the moment to score goals. And I think a few little tweaks here and there, and we're starting to see good consistency now. So hopefully we're going to build on this and have a really strong second half of the season as well.
We've got the elf just over here in the dugout for the Mariners. There's plenty of Santa hats here in the crowd tonight as well, but it is a super busy period for your side. What does the Christmas period look like? Any hours at home with the family in Cronulla?
Look, the Bulls are my family at the moment. We play right through Christmas and our schedule is so busy, so we'll be spending most days at the training ground, but we'll definitely sneak a few hours here and there with the family.
Love it. Can't wait to see you back out there. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Neve, and thank you, Chris Economides, for your time. Let's have a look at the Paramount Plus Player Index. Halfway through, Danny De Silva, who we've seen his technique on show, and of course, the only goal of the game so far. Mikael Docker has been the big threat for the Mariners. Jed Drew and Jake Holman involved a lot as well. Let's have a look back at the weekend that was. It all started on Friday night with that late comeback from Sydney FC, 3-3 against Adelaide. Western United stunned the league leaders Auckland 4-0 on the Saturday. Perth Glory got that crucial first win of the season over a still winless Brisbane Roar. The Melbourne Derby ended 1-1 in a fantastic advertisement for the game. And then the Wanderers stunned Wellington yesterday by 4-1. Eric, this started very, very early and set the tone for the match.
I love watching this game yesterday because it just highlighted the importance of movement and honouring the final run in the final third. It's a beautiful pass, that one, from Barello. The understanding that the front players had yesterday from Western Sydney was outstanding. And then Wellington almost got themselves back into it with a special bicycle kick in that second half. But then it is all about the Western Sydney Wanderers and just adding more numbers to their game. And this is the pick of the goals. What a strike. You won't see a better one possibly this weekend from the Wanderers. It was a great game and a great win.
Important home win for the Wanderers. What's coming up? Well, they're back in action on Friday, away to Adelaide in the first match of round 10. There's really just a couple of days off to get Christmas out of the way, and then you can get back to the Isuzu UTE A-League football on Paramount Plus. That's it for the Hungry Jacks halftime show. Don't forget, next weekend is Big Blue time on Saturday on 10 Bowl. That's going to be one to catch. Have to be careful. Bozanovsky lunging in as Wayne gets to the byline. The cutback, and it's Adrian Segincic with his second. Mashash, he's got space. Mashash still going. Mashash shoots and he scores in back-to-back matches. celebration of football right here in Campbelltown, getting behind their side. Spectacular, great stuff. Young and old. Well, Danny De Silva's goal separates these two sides at half-time. He was a little bit fortunate to get his name on the score sheet, perhaps. If Jed Drew had placed his initial shot a little better, he'd have a goal and not an assist to his name. The two experienced leaders in attack, Germain and Jakalic, were both involved in that goal, but otherwise it's been a fairly spirited, if not yet convincing, first half performance from the Central Coast Mariners. The champions looking to find the consistency that has eluded them so far this season. At the moment, Eric Partalou, it's Macarthur who are climbing back up to 4th place in the standings alongside Melbourne City, and that would be a fair return for when they're playing at their best. They are very hard to beat.
They certainly are, and they dropped out of the top 6 from the start of the weekend there, and they've got to get themselves back in it. I think the way that they're setting out their formation is allowing this pass to go to Mikel Docker a few too many times.
And that's where he has proved dangerous so far, that time inviting Kozewski to cross from the right.
But like we said, because they scored that early goal, they were able to sit into that shape. And that would be the only question mark, I think, for Milos Sturjovski. How do we stop this guy from getting the ball and turning and running through?
There is Milos Sturjovski, who's answered the critics so far with that cup win at the start of the season. Christophe Gamel, who's back on the sideline after that 6-match ban for a little overly heated moment on the sideline. That was that match against Newcastle where Valère Germain missed a last-minute penalty to equalise. Missed a penalty last week against Auckland, Wellington rather, as well, but managed to get the opening goal from the rebound. Matt Smith, former Brisbane Roar skipper as well, one of Milos Sturjovski's assistants on the bench. Germain goes to ground too easily. Referee allows play to continue. The challenge was from Nathan Paul. Now here's Docker again. Getting away from Holman, but not Bratton. Read the situation perfectly. Now De Silva. He's got Jakalic up there. De Silva running with the ball. Vujica. Kaltak reading the situation perfectly, and McCalmont turning away from trouble. We have seen Mark Jackson, who's in conversation with Danny Schofield, his assistant coach, on the sideline at the moment, just looking to see if there are any changes in the Macarthur lineup. And of course they are adept to making tactical changes themselves during matches, so they've got it wide on the left to Noah Smith, looking to drive that early cross in, blocked by Keely Adamson.
It's good defending again from Adamson, not allowing that cross to be put into the box. And if you look at the Mariners, they've only really got Qual inside the box as that target man. He hasn't had a lot of things to run onto, so they're waiting for it to go wide and get that cross in, where we have seen him score a couple of goals with his head this season.
Steele with Nathan Paul. Smith again. Nathan Paul venturing forward. It's not a bad cross either. Just a little bit overhead. We did have Kozewski and Qual in the middle that time.
That's a great run forward from the big man, making a run from the back line, and he whips in a really good ball. I don't think Qual was expecting that to go right inside the 6-yard box, but they're the half chances that the Mariners have been creating so far, and they've got to try and make it a full chance by making people run onto those sorts of crosses.
The Christmas support for the Central Coast Mariners on that far side of the pitch. You can see a fair bit of yellow spattered around there. There is a bit of yellow on this side as well. There's the Mariners still looking for a way back into the game. Giovanni inviting Adamson forward. He's got Jed Drew ahead of him, just waiting to unleash the horses. Jed Drew now a chance. Eames getting back to help out Noah Smith with the double team, and they've put the brakes on the Bulls this time. Vujica, Jarkalic exchanging passes with De Silva. Bratton has done that well. Adamson completely missing his cross. He was accelerating, just rushing things a little bit, looking for Germain in the middle.
I thought they took a little deflection there. Adamson trying to get forward, and it's great work from Luke Bratton to recycle that possession and switching the play. And they were very patient, Macarthur. They have attempted the most passes in the competition, but possibly the use of the football could be improved in their moments. That they like to counter-attack. Let's not beat around the bush. That's their way of getting forward and scoring goals. But sometimes in that pattern, they could keep it for another sequence.
Adam Kersey just making the Mariners take the free kick from the right place. Mikhail Docker saying, well, if Luke Bratton's going to run with the ball back towards the halfway line, we'll take it from where he drops it. Jed Drew almost looking to capitalise on a moment's hesitation from Nathan Paul. Stormroot with McCalmont. He looks for the run of Noah Smith. It's a great run, a fantastic first touch. Smith squares the ball. Halu Kuol couldn't get the touch, and then it just didn't fall for Docker. That's out for a throw. Well, free kick goes the Mariners' way.
How many times have we seen McCalmont spraying those passes from right to left? Here he is again, and that one went right inside. It was perfect, right onto his foot there. And Smith gets himself into a great position. Just couldn't find anyone in the box.
And now Docker on his right foot. Kaltak now. Blocked by Bratton again. Corner for the Mariners. Corner number 7 now for the Central Coast Mariners. That's just one for Macarthur. And all 6 of them in the first half were taken short to the corner. And now there are 2 players out. Forced long, oh, Eames at the back post. He scored, the 16-year-old. Well, he's drilled that ball through a forest of players and in off the far post. Not only is he the youngest player for the Central Coast Mariners, the youngest starter in their history, well, this evening, Hayne Eames just became the youngest goal scorer in Central Coast Mariners history as well. He's a youngster making history this season.
Faith repaid from Mark Jackson, putting the youngster in. And on the Harvey Norman replay, we're going to see just that. It was a beautiful first touch and set himself up to hit it on the half volley. The first time they've gone forward and put it in the box, the Central Coast Mariners. And it's on that second phase of play. Nobody expecting the young man to play any part in that. That to equalise and score your first goal. What a great start.
5 matches off the bench before tonight. There's the name. Don't forget it. Foul by McCalmont. Macarthur. Bratton and McCalmont having words. Danny De Silva wasn't impressed either.
It was a very late challenge from McCalmont, but perhaps just really buoyed in getting that equaliser, the spark that the Mariners needed. They've got it.
No second clean sheet for the Bulls. Jed Drew, he's going to get there. The cutback. It might yet fall for Germain. Oh, big air swing from Marin Jakalic, in fact. And Stormroo launches long. One for Alu Quoll to chase, and Tommy Uscock's not taking any chances with Quoll around.
Well, hang on to your hats. It's about to get fiery. What a world-class pass that was from Luke Bratton.
No way through for Docker. It's Macarthur. Play their way out. But not for long. Given away by Jones. It's diving in there. The Mariners have it back. And now the question is, for the Central Coast Mariners, can they go on with it? Great run from Nathan Paul again. Now outside, Noah Smith. Squares the ball. Quoll at the front post. Kuzewski at the back, and that was very, very close to a second goal in 3 minutes.
Oh, they did everything right there, Paul and Smith, moving forward at just the right time. There's that first challenge, both players leading with the studs, but Paul yet again stepping forward and making himself a nuisance and an extra number, but Quoll cannot connect with anything that's going across that 6-yard box tonight. That needs to change.
The big switch of play finds Jed Drew. Here's Keely Adamson. Back with Jed Drew. Danny De Silva playing up in that number 10 role. Adamson looking for him. Decides to look towards Valère Germain. Very comfortable ball for Stormroo. Not necessarily panic stations yet for Macarthur, but Ile Stojovski's up and standing at the edge of his technical area. And the challenges are starting to come in now.
There's another one, and surprise, surprise, Luke Bratton involved yet again. He requires a lot of attention in the middle of the park. It's a little bit naughty, ball's going out, but it's starting to get competitive, and that's a great sign for the game.
Adamson, good ball for Jed Drew. Got there ahead of Nathan Paul. Drew looks up, crosses, back post, Jakalish. Forced wide, Germain's in the middle. Oh, it's a good ball. It was a very sneaky little run from Germain to the front post. And Paraych Cullen just about dealt with it.
That was so intelligent. That little touch here from Jed Drew to go past Paul. And then he looked up and saw that far post option for Jakalish. But watch Germain here, that movement to try and get in and stay onside. Paraych Cullen with a fantastic save.
Jakalish gets it back again. With Buitsa. Yellow shirts everywhere, they get it clear. The turn from Quoll, who's collected by Tommy Uscock. The referee wants to have a word. Does he, or does he just want the ball back?
Luke Quoll there, using his body. Would have liked to have seen him turn there. Could have potentially just kept going and continuing. He had Tommy Uscock out of position. You don't say that very often. That could have been a good chance to spin and go forward.
Here's Kaltak. And Noah Smith's just been on the sidelines chatting to Mark Jackson, saying just settle things down a little bit. Don't need to go every time. And so the Mariners now just trying to move the ball around and find some little pockets perhaps with Harrison Steele. It's well played. Comes inside. Enough pace to get him out of a sticky situation.
Good movement. Kuzewski drawing in all the midfielders for Macarthur.
And they found space on the right again. Quoll arriving. Anything, the cross just came a little bit too early. Noah Smith again. The touch for Eames. Steele. All of a sudden it's the Mariners looking very confident on the ball.
It's almost as if once they start believing in the way that they can play, and let's not forget they've gone and played against some really top quality opposition in the AFC Champions League Elite, and they've got to and as I say that, of course, but this is what they have to do. This is the avenue they have to keep working, keep playing their football, keep making passes and trying to get into that final third.
Not for the first time this season. Mile Sturjovski is looking to Ariath Pjol, perhaps, to provide an answer in an attacking sense. Walter Scott is the other substitute preparing to come into the game, so it's the home side who will show their hand first. Have to wait for stoppage before they can make that double change. Goal who scored that wonderful bicycle kick with just over 15 minutes left to play against Sydney when they were trailing, and came back to get the win. Change not made while defending a free kick, so they have to wait again. Here's Paul. Again shown inside, and he accepts the invitation. Still going, little touch off for Smith. No way past Keely Adamson, it was well defended. Again, Giovanni, just a loose little pass, and he's frustrated with himself.
And the crowd is as well. The volume certainly cranking up here in Campbelltown. You can hear the fans expecting more, wanting more from their team. They're just a little bit sloppy in that first phase of possession. Once they win it back, they were so effective in that first half.
Kalmon almost releasing Kuzewski, signing against it at the last minute. Two shots to one in the second half in favour of the Central Coast Mariners, who are again enjoying the lion's share of possession. With Docker. Kuzewski. McCalmont wanted it inside. Forced back. Stormroo with Harrison Steele. Docker. That's a good challenge. Important one from Jones, but it's a follow-up challenge from Steele, which almost played in qual.
Yeah, Jones did extremely well there to go and read that first play and then get himself back in and make sure there's nothing going to happen on the offensive end for the Mariners.
So the double change is coming. It's Vujica and De Silva, the two players making way. And they will both head off on the far side of the pitch. So Walter Scott comes in at left back, and Ariath Pjol will join Khalil Germain. You can hear the roar for Pjol with a second striker up front. Germain might drop into that number 10 role, and there's a change coming for the Mariners as well. Kuzewski has gone off. Christian Theoharis will come on that right side of the attack. In fact, I think Docker is heading out to the right, Eames into the middle, and Theoharis onto the left.
I think it was certainly the right time to make a change. If you're Mile Sturjovski, it's not been the same as the first half, and that half-time team talk from Mark Jackson, and just tweaked a few things in there, and obviously getting that equaliser, it's given them a little bit more impetus going forward. They're still sticking with this back three, but now we're going to see Docker, as you said, Robbie, right on that right-hand side of the touchline, acting like a winger.
That's where we saw so much of him last season. Immediate headache for Walter Scott on that far side, because Eames and Quall are also lurking there. Oh, that's a little bit too much from Nathan Paul this time. Jed Drew looking for the pace of Pjol. He is lightning quick. Kaltak. Look at the space in midfield from McCalmont. Macarthur have to be careful about that. Steele now. Bratton trying to close down that space, but they've played through at the Mariners. Sure, that was intended for Quell from Noah Smith, hard to tell.
Yeah, what a shame that broke down, because it was a great move. That's the way to count and get rid of that midfield that's been sitting in so deeply. Luke Bratton on the ball now, Jake Holman providing that plug The Mariners almost have to do what Macarthur were doing in that first half, which is go forward quickly.
Bratton's ball looking for Scott. Picked off by Rue, but Scott has won it straight back again. Now Holman, a little bit more advanced with Adamson. Keely Adamson again. Back with Jake Holman. Wooscock. Jones, ball with some pace on it for Scott, and now Yarkalish in behind. Yarkalish does well, still going, looking for Jed Drew. Brilliant defending from Harrison Steele, and the free kick against Tommy Wooscock. Groans from the public and the Bulls bench.
Well, it's all happening right now. There's going to be a card shown, I think, for Sturjovski.
Wave away from Mile Sturjovski there as well. Let's head down to Neve Owens on the sidelines, who's got the front row seat for that one.
He's always such a quiet, considerate kind of fella, Mile Sturjovski, on the sideline. He's been up and about tonight, Robbie, having a few words with Nathan Shakespeare, the fourth official, who's standing just beside me. Wasn't impressed with the offside call in the first half, and you can see just how much this one matters to the Bulls. They're at home, they're going into a really busy period. They know that fourth spot on the ladder could be theirs with 3 points tonight, and I think the coach is really willing his troops on.
Thank you, Neve, yes. He is the mild-mannered Mile Sturjovski, but every coach has to have a little bit of a fire burning in there.
Certainly do. They can't allow this to be another Brisbane Roar episode, and they probably should have seen the game out, and it ended up 4-4 right at the death. And it seems like one of those games where there's certainly not going to be less goals. There are going to be more goals in this game. Wooscock getting a little bit of treatment there of his own. Payback there from Qual, the right part of the pitch to do it.
Macarthur also, no matter how much they try and change their DNA, they only know one way, which is score late goals and concede them. We're approaching the midway point of the second half, so we're just about ready for takeoff. Bratton with Holman. Could have turned there. You could hear all the slip from Wooscock. That's why you have to be positive. Oh, and Wooscock's going to be in trouble here. Well, is he saying, referee pointing to the ball? Harrison Steele was sent cartwheeling through the air like a Christmas firework. Now, Yarkalish. Yarkalish still. Back with Bratton. Scott. Holman. He's playing very deep, Jake Holman. Forward towards Pjol. Cleared. Oh, Theoharis. That's not a good clearance. Oh, now he's tripped on the edge of the area. And this is dangerous for Macarthur. Very dangerous indeed.
Some great footwork there from Jaman, getting himself into that shooting position, and the ball wouldn't sit for Jed Drew, and he took over the Frenchman. Theoharis clearly making contact outside of the box. It doesn't continue inside the box, and that's why we have the free kick. But there's been a few challenges flying around, and this one is the most dangerous. It puts the Mariners under some really big pressure here. That's not all ball, sir, is it?
Harrison Steele got straight back to his feet, to his credit, after a little bit of a time for recovery. It was a little bit wild from Tommy Wooscock, but he got away with it. And now, Marin, Yarkalish and Luke Bratton are standing over this free kick. Now, Joel and Germain aren't allowed to stand within a metre of the wall. Joel looks like he's very close to Kaltak there. They've got Docker down. Who's it going to be for Macarthur? It's Yarkalish, and the wall does its job. Corner.
So difficult to decide what technique to use on the edge of the box. Do you go low and hard, or do you try and lift it over the wall? Here's that incident again, and great footwork yet again by there. Giovanni, and the free kick just didn't have enough oomph to get through the wall.
Corner in. Great clearance from Kaltak. Adamson, only as far as Qual. Oh, I thought that was Smith charging up the left. That's a good ball, Giovanni. The control's not bad. The early cross towards Pjol. Noah Smith again, a little nudge in the back and just enough.
Well, this is what you want to see right now from the home side, is to get this crowd behind them for the last 20 minutes or so. And it's about getting balls into the area and asking questions, but it's about following up and going and defending, not giving away fouls, but being aggressive.
Second change. Hayne Eames gets a hug for his first 70-minute stint in the A-League, and a very good one at that. Crowned with this moment, 8 minutes into the second half.
Just beautiful to watch, and can't wait to see more of this kid. And if that's his first start, don't want to big him up too much, but what an influence he's had on this game. Not just the goal, he got on the ball, he made things tick, and he didn't go missing. I think that was the biggest thing I picked up, that he kept wanting the ball.
Bailey Brantman has come on, and here he is. On the ball, the overlapping run from Docker. Brantman goes again. Chips the ball towards Smith. Good header away by Adamson. Scott completes the clearance to Harrison Steele. McCalmont able to turn and face forward. The curling effort beyond everything from the new introduction, Bailey Brantman.
Just didn't get enough curl on that one. Brantman, almost an immediate impact for Jackson. And they're the sorts of moments the Mariners need more of in the final stages of the game. They need to find people in the final third that are willing to have a go and face the goal and actually have a shot at goal.
Joel gets the free kick. It's Kaltak doing the holding on. Well, the possession still very much in Mariners' favour into the last 20 minutes. 64-36. The visitors have had more shots than Macarthur, although it's Macarthur who are the most accurate shooters and have the best conversion rate in the league as well, who have had 4 efforts on target to just 2 for the Mariners. The Mariners actually have the worst conversion rate, 7%. It means you've got to take an awful lot of shots to find the back of the net. Ball in. And now Adamson. Cross, back post. Markalish from about that kind of area where Craig Noon did score that quite incredible goal, but it was rather different circumstances to that.
It looked like a really, really good ball from Adamson, and it was. The curl was there, the whip was there all the way to the far post. There was no chance that Markalish would have been able to volley that first time, but he gambled, such as the mood that he's in tonight, and they went flank to flank, which I like from Macarthur. We saw that pay off in Wellington last week, going from left to right really quickly, so they really get their 2 wingers involved and fullbacks as well.
Nathan Paul comes inside with Theoharis. He's looking for Brantman. Jones did well. There's the live ladder as it stands with the point from the draw, but that may change. Oh, Jet Drew very, very close to beating Paraitch Cullen at his near post.
Well, they've got the physicality in the DNA, and he's been showing that all night long. Willing to run forward, get himself on the end of things. Possibly had the better option in front of him there, decided to go alone.
Well, the gap was there, but he couldn't thread it through that little opening at the near post. The youngest team in the competition, the Mariners, against the oldest team in the competition, Macarthur. On average, at least, as Docker is fouled by Holman. Kjol gets a yellow card. Just trying to prevent that free kick being taken quickly.
Well, you can see the experience there from Macarthur Bulls as a whole. I was reading before that they're the oldest starting 11 average age, and the Mariners had the youngest. So it's going to come to question in the final stage of this game.
The second double change. Jet Drew makes way for Dean Bosniak, and Liam Rose, the former Mariner, comes on against his old club now with Macarthur. Bosniak, who scored the winner last week in Macarthur with an excellent finish from a brilliant team goal. You can see now that Macarthur are going for attack. They have 4 out-and-out attacking players on the pitch. Bratton and Rose between them do well. Bratton still going into the area. Luke Bratton. Oh, and then just one touch too many. Perhaps he thought he was all of a sudden one of those attacking players.
Storm Roux did an extremely good job there at slowing down Luke Bratton. It was a really good win in the middle of the park, and he took off and went on that left foot and decided that possibly there he was going to go in between 2 defenders, but it just slowed down. But good defending from Storm Roux just to slow him down.
"14 minutes left. And now we are into the money time. The last 15 minutes of matches. The likes of Noah Smith playing their first minutes of the season in a left wing-back position. This is going to be a big test of his athleticism. Kjol holds onto the ball. Adamson being chased by McCalmont, who still looks full of running in the middle of the park, Alfie McCalmont. Jakolic. First time ball. Bratton gets it back to the Croatian. Dreams one day of playing for the Socceroos. Has the passport already, but for FIFA he has to live in Australia for 5 years first. Bosniak, well defended by Paul.
That's his job, and he's added a little bit of an extra layer to his game tonight. Paul stepping forward and making those runs, but those tackles are so important. You've got to remember in these moments where it's 1-1 to just remind yourself what your job is. Defend first and get yourself and your body in the right position.
Bosniak, touch back for Uzkov. Jones. Scott. Uzkov again. Looks up the line for the pace of Pjol. Closed down by Paul. That's a good turn away from trouble. Bosniak is there as well. He's got the corner.
Good play from Macarthur, getting forward, Pjol involved. This is a great little idea from him, just rolling and flicking and trying to make that run. There was an extra little pass there from Adamson. He was in for all money. But the home supporters, they can feel something coming here.
Walter Scott looking to deliver. In it comes Perage. Cullen came and didn't get there. It's still there. And the header away from Alu Kuol. It will be another corner. He had to scramble that time.
Good defending in the end. There's a few bodies down. It was Uzkov with the initial header, and there's an arm in the back there. And he did really well there, Kuol, to go and clear his lines.
The header. Completely missed that, Pjol, but it comes back in from Germain. Nobody attacking it. Jakalic now. And Ariad Pjol, it's there for the hitting. Deflected. Just wide, and in the end cleared by Alfie McCalmont.
Well, these can go absolutely anywhere. It was Jakalic with the first one. Great work from Pjol to keep that alive, and just needed something on target there. McCalmont with the final clearance.
Mariners are going to make a long-awaited substitution. Trent Sainsbury, nearly 11 years after his last match for the Central Coast Mariners in the A-League against the Newcastle Jets in January 2014, is now coming on to replace Noah Smith. He has turned out once this season. It was against Shandong in the Champions League Elite. But a great moment for the A-League to welcome back one of its favourite sons. Over 60 caps for the Socceroos. Welcome home, Trent Sainsbury. And with a job to do, nonetheless, this evening.
Yeah, not an easy time to come in for Trent, but he's had enough experience around the world playing, and isn't it great to see him back out there? A lot of hype around him re-signing with the Mariners, where it all sort of began for Trent, and possibly where it will end. So
here's Pjol, a little touch. Bratton driving it to Bosniak. Back again. Oh, just taking a bobble from Liam Rose.
It was a great arrival from Rose, and they're getting themselves into these positions more and more at the moment. Macarthur, that could have bounced anywhere. Clarence Cullen, safe hands tonight.
Well, we're all set for some late drama here. Sainsbury, with that first touch, finds Harrison Steele. Harrison Steele, who's a coastie through and through. 10 years ago, would have been looking up, hoping to be like Trent Sainsbury. Back in the day, here he is now, playing alongside him. Just intercepted there by Marin Jakalic. You can hear the encouragement from his teammates. And now, after a long wait, another long wait is coming to an end, because Valère Germain is making way. And it's Bernardo Oliveira making his return to action. The former Adelaide man, the Australian Youth International, back from an Achilles injury that's basically kept him out for the entirety of 2024. He's now on the field as well with a point to prove, up alongside Pjol.
There's a lot of changes in there, isn't there? Completely changed both teams and both ways of playing. Here's Trent Sainsbury in the middle of that three, moving Kaltak more to that right-hand side. And you just wonder what the idea is now for the Mariners. They look as though they're going to go for it here.
Storm Roux has moved into that more familiar left wing-back role now. Bernardo's last game was in March. It was a 3-0 defeat at the hands of the Mariners. Now here he is back, 9 months on. Docker delivers, Cox's header. He's inherited the captain's arm. And, oh, no, that looked like a hand. It was well struck, and the break is on here. Here is Bernardo, his first touch. Jakalic back through the middle. Bernardo didn't look up. And now he's dallied long enough for all those yellow shirts to get back in the box. Pjol with Adamson. Jakalic and Bosniak was streaming through the middle. Here is Bosniak against Theoharis. He's got the corner. No, goal kick, says the referee.
Oh, what a frustrating counter-attacking move for Macarthur. They had the numbers forward. Bernardo just got jelly legs when it most counted. Possibly striking the arm there of Luke Bratton. Certainly looked like it from that angle. And was it in a natural position? Not sure, but the referee played on and they almost scored from it had Bernardo released that pass just a little bit earlier.
Well, it's an interesting one, isn't it? It wasn't a penalty, so the VAR don't have to get involved, but had Macarthur scored, then it may have come back to the changeover in possession for a handball.
Well, it's such a long time to go back, isn't it?
Yeah,
but
the changeover.
It does happen.
Yeah.
And here's that counter-attack. Bernardo streak, and he didn't get his head up. You can see him watching the ball and trying to eye out the space on the outside of Storm Roux and waited for an arrival of somebody. And in the end, they just got crowded out and completely lost the momentum in that move. That was their chance, Macarthur.
5 minutes to go, plus stoppage time. Let's have a look at the Paramount Plus player index. Hayne Eames, what a night for him. With a first ever professional goal at just 16 years of age. He leads the way from Docker. There's still time for Docker to get up and steal that away from him. Kaltak's there as well, Bratton and De Silva. There is Hayne Eames, the baby-faced assassin of Christmas Eve.
Sounds like a Christmas movie, that.
Scary one.
Yeah.
Nathan Paul has just received treatment, so he's got to run back around and wait to be invited onto the pitch by the referee. So Adam Kersey there telling Parajic Cullen to get on with things. Danny Vukovic screaming instructions as well from the Mariners bench to his players to maintain the focus, the concentration. Brantman, it's been a while since the Mariners have been up this end of the field. Brantman against Jones, gets the cross in. Bratton clears long. Storm Roux under pressure from Bernardo. Unorthodox but effective from Docker.
Did well to get out of that one, didn't they? And just wondering right now at this scoreline who it suits more. And we know the Mariners struggles in front of goals, X, Y, Z, but it's almost as if it's open for either side to go and get 3 points here. And the judge of play at the moment, it's Macarthur pushing themselves forward, but the Mariners have made a couple of interesting substitutions. I'm just watching the movement of the likes of Brantman, and he's opened the game up completely as well.
Roux. I think this time they've got a free kick for handball, but it's essentially a corner.
Storm Roux can play on either side, either flank. Very versatile, and he'll run all day into channels, and there's a big reason why this team operates. It's about energy.
Mikael Docker. Just over 2 minutes left. Ball in is a dangerous one. Nathan Paul was eyeing off his first goal for the Central Coast Mariners. Couldn't get enough contact on that header.
There was great shape on the ball in there from Docker yet again. The movement there, Qual was behind it. Paul couldn't make any sort of contact, and it went right through everybody. He's had a good game tonight, Mikael Docker.
"13 shots to 10 in Macarthur's favour, courtesy of that strong last few minutes. 5 shots on target to just 2 from the visitors, and an XG of 1.7 to 0.3 from the Central Coast Mariners. So the statistics now point all as Qual has got front position on Uzcock, and this is going to be red for Tommy Uzcock. Alu Qual with that constant running, such a danger. Uzcock's even got cramp now. He's bundled over Alu Qual on the edge of the area. It's a red card. for the Macarthur skipper. And I think it's a free kick, not a penalty.
And this is the danger that Aluqual possesses. We haven't seen him for most of the game. The first time he's had to run onto something and get himself into that position. He does so well to draw in the contact from Uzkok, who is completely out of position and out of timing and doesn't see him coming on that blind side. And Qual has put his side into a beautiful position here, right on the edge of the box.
Tom Uzkok will miss the trip to Perth now on Friday. More headaches for Mile Sturjovski. Free kick on the edge of the area, 90th minute. Mikhail Doka. 5 minutes of stoppage time announced by the fourth official, Nathan Shakespeare. Doka and Brantman standing over this free kick. We think back to that first minute of the game when Qual ran past Uzkok for pace and was unable to make anything of it, to now. Doka straight into the wall, and the follow-up is cleared by Luke Bratton. Yakulish with the defensive header. Well, I thought Curto was going to claim it, they were going to get away with it, but it's another corner.
Well, it's going to be Doka yet again, whipping in these dangerous deliveries, and he's been doing this all night consistently.
Again, it comes in from Doka. It's a good ball, the glancing header from Nathan Paul. Goal kick, both sides, throwing every last ounce of energy into the attack. There are those Mariners fans. They've got their Christmas banner taped up on the back wall behind them as well. Curto in his 100th appearance for Macarthur FC. It's cleared long. Tommy Uzkok's going to have to wait for his 100th. That was number 99 for him, and number 100 won't be on Friday now.
That's like getting out in cricket, 199, isn't it? Should be a fine. No, I think there's a challenge he possibly had to make when he's already made the error positionally and potentially would have lost the game had Aluqual gone on to that and scored. That's another discussion, however. But it was something that had to be made, one for the team, late on, but it's going to hurt them next week.
Both Aslanagic missing for a second week in a row here with a back complaint. We do have Matt Yerman on the bench still. That's cleared by Rose. Ollie Jones has to chase. Curto tells him to leave it. Curto long. Oh, Bernardo can't get there. Scott's header is a good one towards Yakulish. He's bundled over by Theoharis, who we've barely seen Christian Theoharis in this contest since he's come on.
He's been hanging over that side, waiting for the ball to come to his feet. That's his plus point as a player. Not these sorts of challenges. Yakulish very, very happy just to run the clock down and get a few more seconds. I think Macarthur, all they know that they're down to 10 men, they probably want to slow it down just a tad.
Well, you'd think now Macarthur would be happy with a point, a player down, but of course we've also learnt that Macarthur are never more dangerous than when you write them off, and when you think you know what they're going to do as well. Case in point, Ariad Pjol can't prevent that going out for a goal kick.
Yeah, definitely want to see more of Pjol, possibly from the start even. I'm reading some good articles about him on social media. It's great to see and hear sort of his story coming through and getting game time, and let's hope he can get more time on the field now for the Macarthur.
The touch from Brantman. Harris hugging that touchline though. It's just a little too far wide. Oh, that's clever from Jakalic. Harris almost got away with it.
He's just got that football IQ, hasn't he, Jakalic, where he doesn't get phased in situations where a lot of players would potentially play it with a bit more oomph or not take a second touch.
Challenged by Bernardo, can't get rid of it, but Harrison Steele stayed down as Bradman goes on a charge. Scott up the line. It's been missed by Caltac. He says there was nothing wrong with that. Referee allows play to continue. Mariners on the front foot. Is this the moment for the Central Coast Mariners? Thea Harris. One touch too many. Yellow card for his troubles.
Nothing worse than going on a mazy trying to shoot and then receiving a yellow card for a touch tackle. But Theo Harris, he tried everything there to try and wingle and wangle his way onto his left foot. But Macarthur, who have defended really well tonight in numbers, they don't allow Philip Curto to be sided. They've done another good job tonight.
We're into the 6th minute. I wonder how much more referee Adam Kersey is going to add on. Caltac's header. Is there time for one last chance? No, decides referee Adam Kersey. Well, it was a match that threatened to come to the boil, but I guess in the end, it just didn't quite manage to provide us with that grandstand finish. There was a late red card for Tommy Uzcock, which almost handed an opportunity to the Mariners. There were chances for both sides to try and get that second goal, but it wasn't to be. Shakes of the hand between the coaching staff and officials on a night that Hayne Eames became the Mariners' youngest ever goal scorer at 16 years of age as he equalised, cancelling out Danny De Silva's first of the season in the 11th minute. At Campbelltown Stadium, both sides miss out on the chance to jump up the table, but Macarthur, finishing with 10, will be the happier of the two sides. We finished here, Macarthur FC 1, Central Coast Mariners 1. Well, the crowd can now focus 100% on Christmas in 2 days' time. So too the players, even if there is very little rest, as we discussed. Off to Perth on Friday for Macarthur, and Auckland at home on Saturday for the Mariners. There are the Tobin points then. Alfie McCalmont picking up the 3 points for an industrious display in the middle of the park. Marin Jakalic, who was a real danger down that left flank throughout for Macarthur. And 1 point for Hayne Eames, who became that record-breaking goal scorer for the Mariners. Let's head down to Neve Owens with the player of the match.
Alfie McCalmont is our Isuzu UTE player of the match. Alfie, sorry, you worked very hard for that Powerade. You were involved in everything in the middle of the park. Does it feel like your side created enough opportunities in that second half to win that one?
Yeah, I thought we did. I thought in the first half we created quite a lot as well. I thought we broke the press quite well. Just the final ball kind of let us down. But after last week's result, it's a positive. Obviously, we want to win the game, but it was a better performance. But yeah, we're taking to the next game.
How important was that performance tonight after what was a really tough loss at home last week?
Yeah, last week was unacceptable. We said it as a team. Unacceptable, can't be getting beat 4-0, even at home.